All right, so I'm just going to kind of jump right into kind of where your leads are coming from. So my first question is, where do your leads come from today, and are they the same place they came from when you first started?
All right.
Herb, we'll start with you since you've been.
Okay. My leads come from now. My farming, come by farming my neighborhood. And I'm starting to get a little bit of repeat business. To answer your question, no, they did not start out that way. I started out with my leads. I walked my neighborhood a whole summer. Passed out flyers, postcards, business cards, letting everybody know what I did. I'm talking about it's 104-degree heat, and the next year I started seeing that pay off for me.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but you walked your dog a lot.
Yeah.
Right? You met a lot of people just through walking your dog, right?
Walking my dog, jogging. Anytime there was an opportunity for me to meet somebody new, I did. Let them know what I did. Hey man, I live in a neighborhood just like you. I live on such and such street, and I'm also a realtor. So if you're interested or if you know anybody, hey, just give me a call. And that's it. You don't want to overwhelm people with what you do. Just let them know what you do and just move on. And it paid off for me.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, please.
Also, Herb and I are friends. We're both at Nathan Grace.
Nathan Grace, yeah.
And when you went to the door, how did people receive you? What was the overall? And did you get business from that?
Well, okay.
I'm really curious. I'm going to learn too.
Well, just to be honest, I mean, I learned a lot from being on the phones. So I got used to people hanging up on me, stuff like that. So it was the same thing as going to knock on the door. You knock on the door, okay, you see the no solicit sign. Sometimes I would still knock because I don't think I'm soliciting. I'm just letting people know what I do. I'm not asking to sell your house. I'm just letting you know, hey, I'm in the neighborhood. But you have to, right.
That's really true.
That's true. So what I would do is I would just, go. I wouldn't be afraid to get a door slammed in my face. And did I get any leads from that? I got maybe about one or two. But it was not about trying to generate leads. It was about marketing yourself and letting people know what you do, who you are, and you live in a subdivision.
Oh, exactly. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Jen?
In the beginning, I think open houses. That was number one where I started. And my success in open houses, and I still to this day am surprised that maybe I get a call, and 3 years ago they met me in an open house. Right. And they want me to sell their house. So never be discouraged if that is an avenue that you go after. But what I found in the success of the open houses was my knowledge. The level of knowledge really helped me in the early days to study and know what I was doing and what I could offer. What kind of resource really was I to that potential client? And maybe I gave them information and I didn't end up being their real estate agent, but I gave them knowledge, and especially when it came to mortgage loans and how can they buy this house? That seemed to where I really connected with potential clients, and they asked me to be their real estate agent because they knew that I could help them. And I know that sounds simple, but I had the resources to help them. So I think that was really in the beginning what I did. And that I say this proudly, but I've never paid one dime in lead generation. My business comes from referrals and repeat, and I've had people offended by that. Like, oh, she just gets referral. She just says she gets referral business. Well, isn't that cocky? It takes a lot of work, a lot of work. And you have to truly care about your client. Or I'm in the wrong business, or I'm in the wrong way to lead generate my business. I build my business on relationships because I get a lot of pleasure out of that. I get a lot of fuel. It makes me happy. And then my business, it's a big circle. But serving my clients is really the base.
I'll be giving
But that's really where I am today, is nurturing who I've served already, how I can continue to be a resource for them, and I might not make any money out of it, meaning that they have questions. And being a servant, I run my business as a servant-based business. I'm here to serve, and I don't let it frustrate me if I feel I'm being pulled. It's part of the business, and it's part of my model. But so now it's nurturing, and just repeat clients are blessing my business. Last year, year 7 and 6, I couldn't have done the numbers I did last year if I didn't have those repeats. And I know I'm talking quite a bit, but there's one thing I really want to get out there that I noticed that first year and second year when I was researching properties on property history, and I was pulling it up and I was looking, and I'm just a curious person. I'm an investigator. I have to dig, I have to know, because I just can't BS my way with a client. I really want to give them. Anyway, what I really noticed was, oh my gosh, the listing agent on this house was not the buyer agent when these sellers bought this house. And the pattern is huge. I mean, even to this day, I still peek. And I thought, not my business. My business, I want, and we say we're the realtor for life. Okay, that's cliche, but really, we want that relationship. Just like I'm with the same doctor that when I moved here, I don't know, 15 years ago from Phoenix. I love that doctor. We have a relationship, but she built that with me. And I'm secure with her, and I know I can go to her, and that's what I wanted with my clients.
Right, exactly. That's awesome. My next question kind of goes back to, I always think it's nice when you learn from others what's the best thing they ever did in their business, and what's the best decision you ever made, and what's the worst decision you ever made. And I feel like a lot of times you can kind of follow along with that. If I make sure I do this and I make sure I don't do this, at least I know I'm heading down the right path. So what is the best and worst decisions that you've made so far in your real estate business?
Herb.
Well,
I see your wheels turning.
The best decision that I have made so far, I would say, getting a transaction coordinator.
Nice.
Once you get to a point in your business where you need someone else to take the responsibility off of you, because right now, my first year, I was doing everything. I was doing the paperwork, I was making sure you go to title, I was following up with the lender, I was doing everything. And what I found out was that was pulling me away from what I do best, is go get more leads, go get more clients. And when last year, year 2, I was like, okay, I need to do something. I need to elevate, I need to grow. It was scary because you're giving someone else all of your work. And you have to make sure that their work ethic is like yours. You have to make sure their integrity is like yours.
Integrity especially.
It's very important. You have to make sure that they're in line with what you want your business to be. So I found that, and when I did that, at the beginning of year 2, I'm telling you, my business just took off because I was able to, okay, I got this listing, boom, here you go. Give her all the paperwork, everything she needed. Here, all you get, and just let her handle it, and I'm off to the next lead. All right, where my next one coming from? What I need to do, and the next thing I know, it was just okay. I had this one, I had this one, I had this one, I had this one, and I looked up. I'm like, man, I'm really these. And you don't know that because you're so busy trying to generate your business. And so I think that was the best thing I ever did. The worst thing I ever did was probably not having one.
That's so funny. That was going to be mine. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Because it held you back? You felt like that?
You
felt like it was like, if I had done that so long ago, where would I be now type of thing?
Yes, because...
Or just your stress level.
Right.
Would be,
yes. Because
you would be right now.
Yeah.
You wake up and you're like, man, I got 3 deals, but you think that the next day you're going to get up and go trying to find another deal? No, you're going to spend all day pushing paperwork. All day long.
Yes.
Pushing paperwork, making sure this is here, you got this, you got that. And I'm a type of person, I'm detail oriented, but when it comes to so much stuff, I'm like, man, did I forget something? Did I forget this? Did I forget that? I forgot the days on a financial addendum one time, on a third party addendum. And my clients lost money because of me, because I didn't pay attention to that. But when you have deals, all these deals going on, you don't know what's what. So, as the agent that I am, I reimburse my clients.
That's right.
But when it came out of my pocket, I was like, all right, now you
I guess there was a lot more than a transaction coordinator would have
right.
cost.
I was like, man. So that was the worst thing that I've ever done. It was not have one when I knew I should have gotten one. But it's scary as an agent, and Jen will tell you, it's very scary because you're giving someone else your money and making sure that they go from beginning to end with the paperwork so your clients is happy and so you can get paid. I think that's mine.
Thank you very much. Jen?
Worst would be waiting till last November to add a full-time assistant at the volume that I was at, because I am a perfectionist, and
feel free to share your volume if you would like to. You don't have to.
Well, just to go on, that I am a perfectionist for my clients. I mean, if you saw my closet or my house, you'd go, you are? But, you know, I want to do well for my clients because they're paying me to do that. But I was scared to give that control to a transaction coordinator or an assistant because I wanted to do it as strong as I did. But I never thought I'd ever miss anything. I am in 20-some years in the restaurant business, and I'm getting older, and when you get to a certain volume and to do it all by yourself, and I will say I was at 12.5 last year, and I did it all myself till the end of November, and that's a lot to juggle. And I'm not saying I didn't make any mistakes that anybody hurt financially, but inside it was just it was to keep that volume. It was very difficult. Could I have done a better job sometimes? Probably. And calling people back, I want to call people back. I want to email people back. I want to show that they're important to me, and that's where it really slips, is your communication. But the best thing I've ever done is steal best practices. One of the best, and I continuously learn, I don't know it all. Every day in a transaction, I'm like, wow, really? Great, and I just put that in my bank, in my head, because I want to be proactive next time. Not that there was a big mistake, but I see something, I think, wow, if I add that to my systems, I can prevent that from ever happening, or my clients will have the knowledge up front. That's really important to me, to continuously learn. But early days at Keller Williams, I went to a top producer panel, and I remember it was Jan Ritchie. And she was talking, I was just in awe, you know, and that wasn't that many years ago. And I was just listening, and it was just clicking in my head. And one thing, you know, if you can take away one thing today, great, you know, one thing. And maybe you don't even pick it up until 2 weeks later, and you go, wow, I can add that. I added something that I continuously use, and it was probably 6 years ago. Jan said that anytime she got in the car and she had driving time, she utilized that time to lead generate. And I continuously, weekly lead generate. Even as busy as I get, I know that I have to spend time nurturing these relationships. And she said she took an index card and she literally would write, I'm calling these people today. Now, she maybe only got to the second one, and then she continuously used that index card. And it isn't always about, like you said, knocking on the doors. Wasn't about, and I asked you how many, you know, clients did you acquire from that? It isn't always about that. It is about the marketing. And it was in the early days just to make sure that they knew that I was a real estate agent. I was trying to give them knowledge, because I was branded as restaurant. People would call me about, do you know who's hiring? Do you know this? Because I'm very connected in that industry. And so to actually get on the phones during drive time and just talk, or to just listen. And I actually did care. I'm blessed that I actually do care when I call them, and I enjoy it, and I get a lot out of it. But that's probably the best practice. And I did it yesterday. I had to drive to Forney for an inspection, and I knew who I was calling. Yes, with my volume now, many times it's people I'm dealing with right now. But no, there were a couple on there that I added, and that's probably the best practice.
Awesome. Thank you. Let's see. This was one that Ivy had on here. She said, what time do you wake up each day, and how many hours do you work each week?
Ooh.
Oh, I know you. He gets up super early to work out.
I'm about to hurt y'all. I get up at 4 in the morning. I'm at the gym at 5. And I'm eating by 6:30 or 7. I start my day at 8. I return emails at 8. I start making my phone calls at 9. I'm out of the house by like 10:30. Either I'm previewing. 10 o'clock is when model homes are open, right? So I'm either previewing or I'm in the office. Now, some people say if you're in the office, you're not making money. That's not true. Because one thing I've learned, and I used to be a Keller Williams also. I'm a Keller Williams agent as well, former Keller Williams agent as well. One thing I've learned is either A, you're either working on your business or you're working in your business. So when I'm in the office, I'm working in my business. I'm looking up properties, or I'm putting programs in place, or I'm constantly knowing your numbers, looking at what you have in your pipeline, looking at, okay, I know such and such is looking for this. I'm going to find it. It's in this MLS. Somebody got it. Calling other agents. Hey man, do you have such and such coming up in this area? 3-bedroom, 2-bath, You're working in your business at that point. Working on your business is when you're out showing houses, when you're out listing houses, when you're holding open houses. That's when you're working on your business, because you're generating more leads, right? So that's what I do. And you have to time block this out, or your day will get away from you. It's only so much so many times, so many hours in a day that you can get this stuff done. And if most of you guys are married like I am, then you got to learn how to shut it off. Because if you don't, then it's repercussions for that. So it's it's kind of like you got to have a strategy, guys. If you don't have a strategy or a plan in place on how you're going to get this done, your business is not going to work. I have not found a business that does not have a strategy or a plan in place that is very successful, right? So you got to do that. So yeah, that's what time I get up, and that's what.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, first of all, you're right about strategy, and mine's forever changing, and I'm sure all of yours is
always
too.
Change.
I'm always redoing my systems and how I'm going to do it, and adding things in, but blocking time out throughout the day. Well, I'm just the opposite of him. After 20 years in a restaurant and having to be at the restaurant sometimes by 6 in the morning when deliveries come in and that type of thing, and getting kids up and all that, because I was also a mom of 3 sons that are now all adults. Oh no, I don't want to get up that early. I literally hit the snooze button probably a billion times, and if I'm up and making coffee by 8:30, I'm lucky. Maybe 9, I might even get up. I know, don't faint. Isn't it beautiful that we can run our businesses any way we choose to run?
Right.
And I'm in my pajamas usually till noon. I don't schedule appointments usually till after 1. It just what works for me. I spend time I live in my office, I office out of my home, and I love my office. I have it set up just for me, and I'm in there talking to clients or potential clients in my pajamas, drinking coffee. What a beautiful thing. I love it. I mean, I crafted my business the way it works for me, and I'm joyful about it. That's the whole thing. I know that my business is blessed because I'm grateful and I'm joyful. But I was up till midnight last night finishing some work. It works for me. I'm a night owl. Doesn't mean that I don't go to bed sometimes by 9. That's the beautiful thing. We can do it any way we want.
Right.
Now, one thing I want to add, I do have a home office as well, and I don't mind sitting at home in my recliner watching ESPN and returning emails.
Okay, just had
But yeah, I did. But I go into the office, guys, because it makes me feel like I'm going to work.
Yeah.
Right? Because if I don't,
Yep.
it's easier for me to get distracted. Now, don't let Jen fool you. She'll walk up in the office.
And then he faints.
Right. I'm like, oh, Jen, but that makes me feel like I'm going to work. I mean, because if I stay at home, I can get distracted. And I grew up in the area of video games, so I can easily. Oh man, Call of Duty right now. I got an hour. Yeah, I'm just saying. But that's I go and I go into the office. But it is a great.
That's a good point.
It is a great thing to have our own schedule and to do what we do. It just, this business is not for the weak-hearted. This business is for people who are disciplined and can get the job done. If you're not disciplined, I'm sorry, it's not for you. Because
it's like both of you have different styles in how you approach your day, but it sounds like you both do what you do consistently. You have your system that works consistently for you, and you have your system that works consistently. Yes. Okay, so the next question is: Are you a goal setter, and how do you stay on track with your goals? What do you use a system or a tool or anything like that, or?
I am, but it's all in my head. Do I write down goals? No. because I was forced to in the restaurant business. And when you're a general manager for a corporation, they want goals, they want monthly goals, they want quarterly goals, how do we measure them, blah, blah, blah. And I'm spending so much time putting this all on paper that it's wasting the time that I can be doing my goals. So a lot of my goals are in my head, they're ever changing, but I keep them simple. It's just simple. And sometimes it might just be who I'm gonna, who are my top 10 or top 15 clients, repeat clients that I'm just gonna nurture for this quarter and reach out to them. And I think you have to spend money to make money, and I didn't have a whole lot of money when I started this at all. Every penny counted. I still appreciate what I have, but I made sure that if I was going out getting nice candles, dropping them off to people, my business card on them, and that money came away from another area of my life. So goal setting, yes, but they're short. They're short. They might be weekly, and it's just all about building the business.
I am a goal setter. I'm a goal setter. I've been a goal setter since college. I'm still the type of guy that'll write down my goals and put them in my closet. So when I'm turning around, I'm putting on my shirt.
That's awesome.
I know what I'm doing. And I mean, these are life pertaining goals that I want to achieve, right?
Yeah.
I do that. Business-wise, I have a business plan that I look at, and another thing that I do is I try to know my numbers. I try to know what I want to hit, how long it's going to take me to hit it. I mean, that's just me. Now, one thing I've done to better my numbers, and I stole it from her. So last year, she was driving around to her clients, dropping off bun cakes. Oh,
Little ones.
Just little ones.
Not
yeah.
the big ones.
But just dropping them off though. And I'm like, man. I'm like, that's, because she knows what she wants to hit. And she knows by doing this can come from another referral. This could, you're doing it out the kindness of your heart for one. But in return, people think, wow, she took her time to come and visit me, Waylon, Murphy, or Wiley, or wherever she's going to drop off some bun cakes, right? Bun cake.
It just happened to be that he's talking about a bun cake.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Bun cake. So this past year, I took that idea, and for Thanksgiving, I dropped off pies.
I saw that.
Yeah, I was delivering pies, sweet potato pies. I was dropping them. Boom, and I got a couple of leads from that. You know what I mean? So, but that right there, because I know my number, I know what I want to do. That helped me. They helped me get it, because at some point the leads are not going to come in the way that you want them. So you got to get creative on how you're going to get your leads. And one thing she said she did in the beginning, she held open houses. How many open houses did you hold a weekend?
Really just maybe one on Saturday, one on Sunday, and then I followed up with all the leads. I didn't hound them,
Right.
But yeah, that was just one or two.
So let's say she did
And they
two.
weren't mine. I didn't have any listings.
Right, exactly.
I didn't have any. I built relationships with other agents.
Agents.
And remind me something I want to mention on that too.
So all I'm trying to say is, so she did 2 open houses a weekend. She probably got anywhere from 7 to maybe 10 leads, depending on the location of the house and whatnot. So she got leads right there. Now, out of those, let's just say 15, she may get 3 solid people who are really looking, or maybe 2. So you gotta do. I mean, the point I'm trying to make is you just gotta get creative, know your numbers. I mean, I'm a goal setter, so if you're a goal setter, you gotta stick. You don't have to glance at it every day. Glance at it at least once a week to look at it and see where you're at. I got them in a contract. I need to go ahead and highlight this in blue. I turn it to green once they close. Boom, there's money right there. So
Green is money.
Green is money. Blue, we got the contract in.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that's what I.
Okay, so continuing kind of on that same mindset, do you have a P&L and do you review your P&L regularly?
Again, I'm such a bad person. You know what? Again, coming from a corporation where, yes, I'm really good at numbers. I see the world in numbers. I can't decorate a house for anything, but I like numbers. I was good at P&Ls in the restaurant business. I could turn a restaurant profitable. But coming into my business, No, I don't have a P&L, but yes, I have expenses. I do have my revenues coming in, and I know what it is. But no, I'm so different than I run my business my way. And no, I don't have a P&L that I watch, but I know my profits. I know my, where my expenses are. And like you and I talked about, it works. I mean, that's what's so beautiful. We all can
Do what works for you.
Do
Right.
what works for you.
Absolutely.
No, I don't have one either. I have, in my business plan, there is a profit and loss, but I don't go to it like I should, right? One of the things I did find out that's very smart, instead of keeping your gas receipts, there's an app out there that I use called Mileage IQ. It keeps track of all my miles, and it sends you a report at the end of each month. So at the end of the year, I just typed in my little app, hey, I want the end of the year report, send me my report, boom, I hand it to my CPA.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know the actual app, just sidebar, it will, once you program it in, every time you start and stop your vehicle from for a certain amount of time, so it knows you've completed a trip, you're not just in traffic, a little thing comes up like a text message, and you just click on it and it says, yes, this was for work.
Right.
And it automatically goes into the thing.
What's it called?
Mileage IQ.
Mileage IQ or mileage catcher, either one of those.
And then what'll happen is once you do it, there's a log. So sometimes I don't check mine for a week, and I just look, and you can just see where you drove to Murphy, $20. You swipe right or swipe left. Swipe right, that's going to yep. Swipe that way. That's work. So I mean, and that's it. That's all you do. It's real easy. But then at the end of the year, as far as other expenses, I really try to keep a folder in my email, especially CCAR dues. I pay it and then put the receipt over there. I just drag. That's what I do. I just drag it. I don't per se keep them. I just kind of just stick it off to the side, and then I just go back and review at the end of the year.
And I do organize those by month. I mean,
Right.
in my computer, in a file. Can I talk about one thing that I think is so important? We talk about a lot of different things, but the bottom line is, if anybody wants anything, they want to know a practice to get more business. And one thing that surprised me after these past 7 years and entering this 8th year is you really don't know where your business could be coming from, and it could shock you. I can't tell you, I've had 3 nail techs be my clients.
Wow.
I've sold their houses and they've bought new ones. 3, so I just jumped to the next place. No, just kidding.
I was gonna say, do you got a lot?
Totally kidding. And actually, the last one that I worked with, she lives across the street from me now, and her and her husband are really good friends. And I'm going to Vietnam with them next 2018. They've invited me to go with their family. Which, what an opportunity, and my 21-year-old son. Also, where I've gotten business that, again, it's all about relationships? Past agents that leave the industry. I've had agents that have worked on the other side of the transaction with me. One now works for the city of Fort Worth, and I have a 100-acre farm and ranch property that's at $2.75 million. He referred me to those clients. Things you just never know. I had another one move to Oklahoma, Keller Williams, and she went with D.R. Horton. She referred me all her business, and I gave her a 25% referral fee. She kept her license here, and that was in the early years. That was like year 2 and 3. And I've had one other agent, same thing. They moved to San Antonio and then gave me referrals. So that I just had to add in. You just never know. Really, the nail salon's been really good to me. It really has. I would say that's my vacation.
You're a lifetime member, right?
I'm telling you.
Right?
But even people that's sitting next to me, I have acquired clients sitting next to me. And I just think it's so weird. But anyway.
Do you expense your manicures?
I shouldn't I? Sounds good to me.
But let me ask something. Let me add on
Yes.
to that. One thing that I'm very good at, that I think a lot of people should do, is network. I'm a huge networker.
Yeah, you are.
I go to, last year I was in Frisco Chamber, I was in the Texas Legends Chamber. Anytime, I'm not gonna say anytime, but most of the time, if there was a networking event, I'm always out there. I'm a big marketer guy. I love, because marketing to me sells houses. Marketing to me gets you leads. Marketing to me gets you, it drives your business. And I don't spend a lot of money on marketing. I don't. I just put my face everywhere.
Seriously. He does. We were talking about that
serious.
today. He really does.
You go, I mean, don't go everywhere, but if there's like I'm here, right? Most of the people I have never seen before, but if I go out, if I'm hanging out with friends, I'm always keep a stack of business cards on you. Keep your business cards on you. Always. Hey, pass them out to friends, whoever you come in contact with. When we was at Keller Williams, we did bold, right? So you had to go and meet 100 people, right? They gave you a week. I met 100 people in one day. You know how I did that? I'm gonna tell you how I did that. I went to an event called Networking After Work. It was in downtown at the Ritz, right? It was over 200 some people there. I took me 100 cards and I was like, well, no, I took more than 100. I was like, well, after this stack is gone, I know I've touched 100 people. And that's what I did. And now, did any leads come from that? No. No, it didn't. But it was a lot of people that knew who I am. It was a lot of people that requested me on Facebook. It was a lot of people that follow me on Instagram. It was a lot of people that, so now every time I post something, I get leads from Facebook sometimes. A lot of my high school friends come to me. A lot of people whose houses I've sold, their friends come to me. I mean, that's how I run my business. I'm big on marketing. So if networking is you, go out and have a couple of cocktails. Keep your cards on you though. Keep your cards on you and just boom, 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 whoever you with. And make sure you get their card, because you have to follow up and put them in your database.
What's the best thing you ever did to take your listing presentation to the next level?
I bought a new computer. I bought a new laptop. It was it's one of the laptops that you can flip over into a tablet. So now when I go into my listing presentation, before I would go in and I would have like my iPad and show the properties and stuff, and which my iPad was pretty nice. But now I got this big screen, of a laptop, and I take it in there. I take my listing presentation. My listing agreement. I don't take any other paperwork, because either A, you're going to get the listing because they like you. People do business who they know, like, and trust, right? So if they know, like, and trust you, they're going to do business with you. So I don't go in there with a lot. I don't try to even sell them on me. I be myself, and I show them the product. I say, here, this is what's out here. This is where we're at. This is what you can get. If they don't like what I say, then that's fine. Another agent can come in right behind me and say they can list their house $20,000 more, and I guarantee you're going to sit on the market, right? So, but that's it. My laptop, it's really changed the game, because it really makes me look really professional. And when you pop out this big old 17-inch screen and you flip it over, and they're like, oh, he got it together. Right? And I'm like, yeah, okay. But yeah, that was it for me.
Okay, Jen?
We're really similar in how we do listing presentations. I just keep it as simple as possible. And I start out by just, where are we going to talk, set my stuff down, and then we walk the house. And the whole time, I'm really analyzing who they are and what's important to them, so that I can customize my presentation, or just really it's a talk. Right. It's kind of like this. Where we're just visiting, and why are they selling, whatever it may be, but I'm listening the whole time we're going through the house. Sometimes just the way their house is, you can kind of get a feel as we do it. Experience, I learn something every single time, but I keep it simple. I don't go through a big thing about Nathan Grace or anything like that. And I think more and more people, I see some head shaking, more and more people we're customizing it. What if we're the seller? What do we want to hear? How much is it going to cost me? How much money am I going to make? And how are you going to help me get in the next house? And so, and I have added over the past year, I do bring a nice gift for thanking them for allowing me to come in their home. And I leave it with them in a card. That's really it.
See, I might have to take that idea.
See? Like what kind of what
gift?
Yeah.
I go to Homology in downtown McKinney, and they just have some really nice candles. They're in the $40, $5 range, and they come in a really nice gift box, and I like how they put them. They've got a nice bag, so it's all done. I go in there, and they've got tissue paper, everything. Then I'm just going to put a card that I have, some custom cards that I had made, and just a little bow on the end of the, presentation.
Awesome. And then my last question, and we'll open it up, is what is the biggest lesson that you've learned in real estate?
Biggest lesson, really just being yourself. That's it. That's the key, guys. It's being yourself. There is no magic wand to make your leads come to you. A lot of these agents that you see that are mega agents, they started from the bottom. They had to start from the bottom, just like we did, right? So, and over time they got there. But if you're yourself, when you go into a listing presentation, they're gonna either like you or they're not. And that's it. If you try to force a relationship with that client, it's gonna be a bad deal waiting at you. You're gonna say, man, I wish I never taken them on as a client. I'm serious. I've had it happen before because I wanted to listen so bad. I conformed myself into what they wanted. And when I did that, they were always calling me, hey, you got somebody from my house? Hey, have you sold? I'm like, man, I just put it on the market 2 days ago. So it's like, you be yourself, be honest with the people. Do not, say you can get something when you can. I mean, yeah, there's a buffer, you make and squeeze it up 5, 10, depending on, but be honest. Tell them the truth. If you don't think they can get it, fine. If they still want to list it high, fine. You know what? We're going to list it here. After about 5 or 10 days, we're going to drop it to where I think it should be. And it's not about proving them wrong. You want to give them the service. You want to do what they ask because they hired you to work for them. So you do what they say to do, but at the same time, they want your advice. They want your expertise. So you have to give that to them, at the right time.
And you're a team.
And
we are a team.
You're
saying, okay,
right.
If you really want to list it at this price, I've given you my advice, but if we don't get any action, you're giving them a game plan on what we can do then and lowering the price.
And lowering the price. They're going to come to you for answers. They want the answer. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Biggest thing I've learned, it's just constant learning. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I wish, I agree. I mean, again, I agree with her. I mean, just to be myself. I think the biggest thing I've learned is it's okay to ask for business.
Right.
Like, I'm confident now when I call clients and visit with them, and then at the end say, I know you know this, but if there is anybody that you hear wanting to sell or buy, I'm your girl. It doesn't bother me anymore. I'm proud to be an agent. But at the end of the transaction, at the closing, I don't do I don't do gifts that are, I'm not slamming anybody. This is part of my business plan, is that the whole time I'm selling, we're buying a house, I'm thinking, what can I buy these people that'll be for them that they'll like? Yes, very personal. And then they're like, what? You heard me say that? I mean, one of my clients, it was an expensive house. So I really spend more money the more, the house is. And they had said something about a Yeti cooler. And I heard that in the back of my mind. And yeah, they're expensive, but I made a lot of money on it. Right. I'm making good money, on a transaction. And you can't be cheap if you really want to touch people's heart. And I'll never forget when I brought that in with a big bow on it, and they were like, oh my gosh, this is the one we talked about. And I try to do things like that. So I think the biggest thing is just that it's okay, even at that point, when they're saying this was fun, I want them to tell me this was so easy. It's a lot of work. Right. But that's my goal. I have goals. My goal is that it's easy, and at the end they're saying that, and I ask everybody at the closing table that I've built my business on serving people, and that when your friends and family need an agent, I hope that I'm your agent, and I hope that I've earned your trust and respect. And then I always do a $50 American Express card for any transaction, and I deliver it after the closing of their referral. I don't reward in the beginning, just my style. And so if somebody buys and sells, and that was a referral, I give them $100 and in a form of a gift card. But I think the biggest thing is learning that I'm not ashamed that I'm a real estate agent and I want people's business and I can ask for it. Now it's received. It was me that was all scared. It was me that thought it was bad.
Held it back.
Held it back that I'm a real estate agent. My kids, who are adults, say, oh my gosh, watch her, she's going to sneak it in. Oh, I'm a real estate agent. Oh, yes, I saw houses. But anyway, you're darn right I sneak it in.
Right,
because I have a service to provide.
It's marketing.
And you know what? Those people hire me and then they're referring to me. I'm going to win them over, I have no doubt.
Right. And then just to wrap up, does anybody have any questions for them?
Yes, okay. How do you guys handle, if this has happened to you, friends, like good friends, and you're gonna list their house, whether, and, you know, and there's some that bring it up and some don't, but the friend that says, okay, now you're gonna help me out with the whole 3% thing.
The commission.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I've had some doozers.
Okay?
Seriously, it's uncomfortable.
All right. Is it a buy and sell?
Well, this was a unique situation. This family, my son's soccer coach, because I do all the, the football team. I'm the sports mom, so I have all the sports people. I have several of them. But it was, he sold 3 investment properties and the current house to build a dream home in Fairfield.
With you?
So I hooked him up with the 3 listed. Yeah, it was 5 transactions in one, with one family, over $2 million. Okay. So I did, but I guess my issue was he asked for it and beat me over the head about it. Okay, this one's got to be like 1%. I'll give you 1% on this one. Yeah, and I'm like, oh my God, let me offer. He didn't even, it was so awkward. And then once we got over that hump, we were fine.
Right.
But it was really awkward. And since then, I've had it happen once or twice, but not as abrupt because we needed to get into the dream house. So I get it.
Right.
But what do you do? Just if you had a listing tomorrow with one of your good friends for years, they were in a situation and it's like they have to get out of the house. It's things are turning. What are your thoughts?
As me, like Jen says, being a servant, and they're a good friend. I would help them because I'm a firm believer, and it will come back to me, right? So what you do on this deal, you can make up on the next deal. I don't do that all the time because then you're shortchanging yourself, right? But yeah, I'm a firm believer that, hey man, you know what? Okay. Yeah, this house is $250, fine, okay. But if we're gonna turn around and buy this one, okay, yeah, I'm gonna make my money back on that. If it's not even a buy and sell, if it's just they need to sell this one, they need some help, I'll be like, God, all right, man, all right.
But even if they don't ask, like this one wouldn't ask, I just know. Right.
If they don't ask, and it's kind of hard to say because people always say, never cut your commission, never cut. I disagree too because it's about your business. How you run your business. Do you think McDonald's always made money by not cutting deals? They cut deals to get to where they were. Yeah. People cut deals, right? So I think cut a deal, but then when the next person, it's not that you're taking advantage of them, but that they have the means. Then don't bring it up. I don't bring it up at all. I don't bring up commission at all in any listing presentation whatsoever. If I'm looking at this and I know, because when you walk the house and when people need you, they're going to have trouble. When you talk to the lender, there's going to be issues. And about me, I'm all about making the deal work. Because if I can get you from point A to point B, then I've helped you achieve the American dream of home ownership or selling this one, right? I've helped you do that. So, yeah, I would take it in consideration. I'll mold it up, and I'm like, you know what? It's okay. I'll make enough money.
I like how you said 2 things. One, that you take it into consideration, and then I liked how you said he didn't even allow me to offer.
Right.
You know what? I've gotten better at this. Yes, probably I don't make a deal on all of them, on a sell and a buy. In the beginning, I always did, and I probably only had a couple of people ask me, and I always offered. Because it was a way of marketing myself. Because if I was in their shoes, you guys, I bought and sold 6 times, 3 different states before I was a real estate agent. I wanted them to cut me a deal. If I'm selling and they're making a commission on the other side, I expected a deal. So it's natural to me to offer a deal, and many times I offered them 1% rebate on the buy side.
Right.
Got burned once, offering it on the listing side, and then they canceled the build contract on the other side. Knew what they were doing ahead of time, but that was just learning, you know. But I like how you said that. And now if I get in situations where they ask me something about a deal and I'm a little uncomfortable about it, or I just need to think about it, I look at them and say, you know what? I will definitely take that into consideration, and I'll get back to you on that tomorrow. It's okay. We don't have to answer like that.
I think that's helpful, because what about if it's, you know, 'cause I've had it happen where it's not even a referral. It's a perfect stranger, and you know, it's
Yes.
someone who we want to buy a house, and they want to,
Say that
keep
again.
me under the table. I
They want
mean,
a discount.
how do you? It's really defending earning a living, because it is
Yes.
saying this is easy for you. You know, this 3% is massive. Oh my God. It really isn't that attitude. How do you, you know, what's your response to say, okay, but I really work hard for this, I work hard for you, and, you know.
I don't say that anymore. I did in the beginning where I felt like I had to defend myself. I don't defend myself anymore. I just tell them how I'm going to take care of them, and just realize that there's a difference between a full-time agent that's doing this every day and then one that does this part-time, and their knowledge is also part-time. And yes, they're going to discount a lot further than I would, if I'm even going to discount. And I'm very proud to say, if somebody asks me, what do you charge me to list my house? And I say I charge 6%, I give 3% to the buyer agent, and I take 3% for myself, and I go on.
Right.
Now if they want to dissect it, fine, I'll dissect it. I have this demeanor the whole time. I'm proud that I charge 6%, because I'm going to give them every single dime of that in service. And if they want to focus just on that and not what I can do to get the very top dollar, because the end of the day, my job as a listing agent is to get you the top dollar for your house, protect you legally, and make sure everything is done on the contract. And I even have a compliance person that takes a double look at it, and that's how I talk to them. That's my job.
It helps show the value.
Yes, and if it's somebody that wants a discount, it isn't somebody that I want to work with.
Right.
And it's okay. That's so hard. When you're at a certain level of business, you want it all. You want it all because that money is important. It takes money to make money, so you want that. And it's a learning curve. You can only do what you think you can do.
Not all money
I
is
know
good
that, I know some of you may have some more questions, but I do want to let everybody kind of get to the rest of the day. We've gone over just a little bit. I know we started a little bit late, but if you have more questions and they're still sticking around, please feel free to come up and ask your questions. And thank you guys so much for coming today.